The framing of C beauty versus K beauty as a zero sum contest oversimplifies the competitive dynamics. In practice, the two occupy different positions along several important axes, and their competitive intensity varies significantly by product category. The C beauty strength lies in color cosmetics, wherein the combination of low prices, trend responsiveness, and packaging innovation creates a compelling value proposition. Brands like Flower Nose have carved out distinct niches amongst the whimsical fairy tale themed product design that has no direct equivalent in the K beauty space. Analysts observe that K beauty's cultural wave has plateaued while Chinese pop culture influence in Southeast Asia is rising. K beauty's higher price points and slower product release cycle make it less suited to the impulse driven trend responsiveness consumer patterns that are increasingly dominant amongst the younger consumer. The most significant barrier to sea beauty's growth remains consumer perception around the safety and quality standards. A lingering association between the Chinese manufacturing and suboptimal quality persists across consumer segments, even amongst those who actively purchase sea beauty products. And this perception contrasts sharply with the trust extended to the Japanese and the Korean brands, wherein consumers are more willing to try unfamiliar labels. The sea beauty brands counter this by pointing to significant investments in R&D and evolving domestic manufacturing standards. The argument that the negative perceptions are rooted in outdated views from a decade ago has merit, but perception shifts are slow and rebuilding trust at scale requires sustained effort and transparency. The second challenge that we wanted to focus on is market saturation and differentiation. Southeast Asia's personal care market is already crowded, and simultaneous entry of multiple Chinese brands creates internal competition that may dilute individual brand impact. Standing out requires more than competitive pricing, it demands genuine localization. And the third challenge is the offline imperative. While e-commerce has been Sea Beauty's primary growth engine, Southeast Asia's retail landscape differs fundamentally from China's. Shopping malls remain central to the product discovery and purchase, particularly outside major urban centers wherein e-commerce penetration is lower. For the color cosmetics especially, in-store testing of shades and textures remains a critical part of the purchase journey. With this background, let's look at the investment signals and the strategic implications. The investment landscape around the Sea Beauty provides a useful signal for the institutional confidence. In 2025, the sector attracted $42 million in equity funding anchored by Chando Group's financing round involving L'Oreal and Chinese private equity firm Harvest Capital. LVMS private equity arm, that is L Catterton, has also shown interest in the space. Now, these are not speculative bets on a nascent market. Rather, they reflect a growing consensus amongst the beauty conglomerates that China's beauty innovation engine has reached a level of sophistication that warrants strategic engagement. For L'Oreal, investing in the Sea Beauty brands provides both a window into the formulation and marketing innovation and a hedge against the potential market loss in the price-sensitive segments. Let's wrap up with the forward view and what to watch out for. Now, Sea Beauty's Southeast Asian expansion is at an inflection point. The combination of supply chain advantages, digital marketing expertise, competitive pricing, and rising Chinese cultural influence creates a strong foundation for sustained growth. Several developments will shape the sector's trajectory in the coming years. Developments in localization depth, developments in offline expansion, and developments in safety and quality narratives. But the two most to watch out for are category expansion from color cosmetics into skincare, which represents the next growth frontier, and the greatest challenge. Building trust in high-commitment product categories will require a different playbook than the impulse-driven strategies that have worked in color cosmetics. And lastly, the global investor positioning. Now, the global investor positioning in Sea Beauty signals that this is not a passing trend. The involvement of strategic investors like L'Oreal and L Catterton suggests that Sea Beauty's product innovation and market expansion capabilities are being taken seriously at the highest levels of the global beauty industry. In wrap-up, we can say that Sea Beauty's Southeast Asian story is ultimately about convergence of supply chain capability, digital marketing sophistication, and shifting cultural dynamics. For the investors, brands, and retailers watching the region, the question is no longer whether Sea Beauty will become a significant force. It is how quickly the market will reorganize around its presence.